What it do, YouTube? It's SS, and I'm back with another video. So this one, I'm running Gallade alongside with Electivire in the front. I do decide to change Electivire in the back after I think the last set I changed Gallade to the front. And I'm only gonna show like I think this is probably like the third set and the fifth set. No. The second set and the fourth set because I ran this team four sets, and I think the first set I went 2-3, then I went 3-2, I think, and then a 3-2, and then a 4-1, I think. And that's what I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna show you the 3-2 and the 4-1, two sets. So let's go ahead, get to these battles, I guess. So we're gonna see Walrein take us out, and I'm thinking about what I should do here, or waiting out the clock, and then I come back into my Electivire because I do want to get off this wild charge, and then I'm able to swap out. That is why another reason why I came into my Electivire, because I did want to nuke it, try to get the next shield, and we're successful on doing that. So now they're gonna throw an icicle spear, and I'm gonna farm up. Now I'm forced to actually use my shield here, and that's fine. So now I'm gonna charge up a little bit extra, and I put it in range where Dragon Claw should just be enough to KO, and it actually does. So now they're gonna come into a Gyarados, which is very weird. But either way, we're gonna get to this Blast Burn. I'm just gonna send the Blast Burn off, and it does a lot of damage. And I actually end up getting KO'd with the move here. Uh, and then I'm gonna come back into Electivire. Well, they're gonna make me come back into Electivire, and this was CMP. So if I would have been able to get that Dragon Claw off, I would have been able to win this game. But new mechanic wasn't working for me, but that's gonna be fine. And then we're gonna hop into the next battle. So we're gonna see Electivire into Empoleon, which is very good lead for us, right? They swap out, they come into an Obstagoon. And now I thought about it. Why didn't I throw the wild charge right off the bat? But either way, we're gonna come into the Glade and we're gonna get hit with a nice slash. So at this point, I kind of assume that they want to shield if I shield, right? Make them think that I'm gonna go for the close combat. And so this is why I went for the bait here, expecting that they are going to shield, and they actually do shield, which is very good for me. So now we're gonna CMP on the next close combat, and I will be either getting the shield or win switch here. And they elect to shield, so at this point I'm gonna keep my shield just for my Charizard, just in case I do need it. And because Charizard is not the very best bulky, or either Electivire, either way, either or. And here I choose to come into my Charizard. They come to Empoleon, and this point, I'm gonna just wild charge it off the bat, and I really want to get this Pokemon off the field because I really don't want to take any damage. And we're gonna see a Dragalge come in, and this is very spicy. We don't really see that many, to be honest. And I was hoping that an Ice Punch would do a lot of damage, and it does. And once again, like the first game, we're gonna end up getting KO'd with the move, which feels really bad for us. But I was hoping I could get to that Ice Punch so I could threaten it. And at this point, I go for the Blast Burn because I do want to make sure that it gets KO'd. But maybe a Dragon Claw and a couple wing attacks, but I don't know how much energy it really had. So I wasn't really trying to risk it, to be honest. And then they're gonna come back into the Obstagoon, and I'm gonna get to this Blast Burn, but we're still gonna win either way. And obviously we're gonna charge up to an excellent, and we're gonna be able to win. So I think maybe a few mistakes on my part, probably could have just went Dragon Claw there, but Charizard is able to live at least one charge move. If it's a Hydro Cannon, I kind of doubt it. Maybe it will live with a couple HP, but yeah. And now we're gonna see them switch into an obstacle, and this is where I actually just end up throwing the wild charge because it makes it easier for me to come into my Charizard to start farming down, or throw the Dragon Claw as much energy that I really want to get. And at this point, I was farming up a little bit way too much, and now I do have to end up shielding, which is very unfortunate for me. But I am going to farm up a little bit extra energy and throw the move because I do not expect them to shield at this point. They got my shield. They have no reason to shield. And now, so I always do one just in case the offset that there is a 3-turn move. They come into an aggron once again, like a 3-turn move. They come into an aggron, which is not ideal for me. So now I come into my Gallade here, and I end up shielding this because I did not want to get hit with a meteor beam, and I kind of assumed it was going to do the most damage at that point. And but they come into a gold, not a gold bat, but a crow bat, and I am going to go for the leaf blade here. They do end up shielding because they knew I could throw the close combat, and they didn't really want to take that. But either way, I come back into my Electivire once I do throw the leaf blade, because those air slashes were chunking from the shadow crowbat, and I wanted to save it just for the aggron. And now they're gonna throw their poison fang, but they had to actually throw the shadow ball there if they wanted to win, because now I'm able to get to this move because I was throwing on good timing. And they're gonna KO us with one stone smackdown, not stone edge, but a smackdown. And since I'm at the leap blade here, I made the move. We're gonna be able to take this game. And so yeah. And then now we're gonna see Electivire into Swampert. Obviously, this is not a good lead for us, and but we're gonna farm up a little bit extra energy, and this is where I choose to actually let it go. And we're gonna get hit with a hydro cannon. This is gonna do a lot of damage, as you guys are gonna see. And I'm gonna go straight for the wild charge. I don't know why. Maybe, probably, I feel like it does more damage than an ice punch, but maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. So I'm going to let this go because we're able to take one move, but then they come into a Trevenant, which is not good for me. But either way, we're gonna be able to throw this close combat. They don't shield, make it less farm for them to get. And now, obviously, I'm gonna come into my charger here and try to get some energy. And I assume that they're going to go straight for the shadow boss, so I do shield because that would lose me the game for sure and definite if I didn't shield the shadow ball there. So and we do have two shields, so I could shield. And now at this point, I really want to get this Trevenant out the way because I do not want to lose any more health. And I tried to do a catch here. It's somewhat of a catch, I guess. They end up throwing their energy regardless, and I'm farming up extra energy. Maybe they got scared that I could be able to farm down. So they're up 2 shields, and this is my Hail Mary. The only win con I had there was that I threw the blast burn, and they called that it was a bait, a dragon claw, and it wasn't. Unfortunate for them, it wasn't a dragon claw. At this point, I choose not to shield this, um, and we're gonna be able to farm down completely. And at this point, they're gonna throw a move. Since I got a wing attack at this point, the only way I'm gonna be able to win is if I farm down completely, and we live on 1 HP, and we're gonna be able to take that game. So a game that looked like we were going to lose, we actually ended up winning. Now they're gonna come. We're gonna see a Toxic Croak in front in the lead, up against our Electivire, which is very not good for us. But I know we're gonna be able to get to this wild charge before they get to their Sludge Bomb or Mud Bomb or whatever. Um, and then I swap instantly into Charizard, hoping that they would throw immediately, and they did. They come into a Swampert, and at this point, I choose to shield because I'm like, well, I'm at the move here. I'm pretty sure that they're going to shield this because it's going to hurt a lot. And I am correct. They do end up shielding, and at this point, they end up throwing right away, so I'm not going to shield, and I can come back into now I can come into Gallade and then start getting farm on Gallade. Because once again, we could take a Hydro Cannon. Is it ideal? It's not very ideal, but we're gonna be able to tank one at least, bring us down to the yellow, and they swap out into a Sizzle, Sizzle, or however you guys want to pronounce it. But either way, we're gonna get to this close combat. No base here. Do they want to shield? They don't want to shield, and at this point, I am going to let this go. I'm hoping that I can live Night Slash here, and we're able to live with Night Slash, and then I farm down completely, and I make a huge mistake here. So instead of me throwing, because I thought they were gonna bring back the Swampert, but they didn't. They actually brought the Toxicroak. So if I would have just let him take me down with Toxicroak, got one farm, one confusion in with Gallade, maybe could have won the game here. But as you guys can see, I need to get the 2 leaf blades, but the Swampert is just so spammy, it's gonna be able to spam this next Hydro Cannon before I get to my next one. And unfortunate for me, but that's how it goes. And I do believe that was the last game of the set as I'm waiting for me. Yeah, it was a 3-2. We're rewarded with a Licky Tongue. That's pretty cool. Even though I probably should build a new one, to be honest. I feel like my old one's a little worn out. But as I'm waiting for myself to press the button. Is it a button? Touch the screen. There you go. But yeah, if you guys are liking the battles, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Uh, we're gonna see this Licky Tongue is not the best IVs. I will trade it later on, and then trade it during once we hit the 100 million gifts sent, and the transfer candy goes live. I am going to be transferring them, but probably trade it first before anything. Now we're gonna see the mirror match here. So this is actually a little bit awkward. So I assumed that I was ahead, but as you see on the energy, it's not correct. So I'm gonna go straight for the close combat here because they give me an option to now throw the nuke and swap here, and they're going to let me throw the nuke. So this is the set where I do end up choosing to switch Gallade in front, and so they come into a Charizard, so I swap out into my Electivire, and now I'm going to throw these ice punches because this is going to be enough to KO at this point. They throw immediately. I'm going to let this go, hoping that this is enough to KO. It is not enough, and I'm hoping that I can get to a move, but unfortunately for me, I am not able to get to a move. Coming to my Charizard, hoping I'm able to wing attack down and before they get to a move, and I do. And at this point, they come into a Machamp, and now this is the biggest call of my life here. I need this to be a cross chop. It is a cross chop, and we call it correctly. And they top left, knowing that that was their lose con or their win con was to for me to shield that. But unfortunately for him, I had the bigger boss. But now, so we're gonna see Gallade into Shadow Shiny Charizard. That's a mouthful. So once again, I'm gonna go straight for the close combat because they kind of need to shield this, and they don't shield it, which is just enough for it to KO. I'm gonna switch out into my Charizard. Shouldn't have did that, and now I'm met with the Aggron, and I tried to throw in good timing, but apparently I do not throw in good timing this time. And but either way, we're gonna be able to get this blast burn off. They do not shield, and at this point, this is looking really rough for me because I have an Electivire, which is not very good. And at this point, I tried to call the bait. The other one Stone Edged me, and this one Meteor Beams me. So now I'm gonna lose with 2 shields to an Aggron. Feels bad. But either way, now so now here I'm wishing that I had Electivire in the lead again. And I'm like, what the heck? Always. So now Electivire looks good. Before it was Gallade looking good, now it's Electivire. So either way, it doesn't matter. So now we're gonna be able to throw these neutral leaf blades, and I'm gonna shield this crunch, knowing it's a crunch. And they stopped tapping for a bit, thinking I was gonna switch. Maybe I don't know. But either way, I'm loaded with energy here, and they come into a Pidgeot, and I'm like, okay, well, here comes the close combat. Do you want to shield this? They don't want to shield it. Makes it easier for me to come to my Electivire. They can throw the Brave Bird. It will hurt, but they choose not to throw the Brave Bird. They leave with a move. And at this point, I'm just gonna start throwing these ice punches. It looked like they stopped tapping for a bit, or they lagged. I'm not too sure. Either way, um, feel bad for them. But then they start tapping again, so I don't know. Maybe they gave up. They gave up, and then they didn't give up. I don't know. But either way, I'm gonna be able to get to this next ice punch here. I do believe this is CMP. Maybe no, it wasn't CMP. Maybe they thought I was gonna catch or something. But yeah, I do end up catching here. The poison fang is gonna be enough to KO. I was hoping it wasn't, but it was. And now I come back into Electivire. At this point, they just end up top lefting. So now we're gonna see Gallade into Swampert. This is a very good lead, actual good lead. And so I'm gonna be able to farm up. Once again, we could take one Hydro Cannon. It does a lot of damage, but we can live it. And so I'm gonna choose to let it go, because if I do end up shielding first, then I'm gonna actually just end up losing the match, because actually want them to shield first. They do shield. This is CMP, so now they shielded. I am going to match the shield as well, and they swap out into an S cab, and I just end up switching. I bank a move, and then I switch out into Charizard. They're gonna throw a move here, and they end up choosing to throw the Mega Horn. That is quadruple resisted. I think you just need to go straight for the drill runs here at this point, but either way, they didn't know that. Makes it good for me. And now I'm going to throw the Blast Burn. No reason for me to bait. They come into a Wall Rain, and then I'm going to get to another Blast Burn. Once again, no reason for me to bait. And do they let it go? They let it go, which is crazy. So they're up to shields once again, and at this point I can let go of my Charizard because I do not want them to get any farm. I come into my Electivire, and then I choose to throw the Ice Punch as they swap out into their Swampert. Then I choose to switch. I shield this, and at this point, since that confusion went in, I'm hoping I can farm down and get to two leaf blades here. I get to two leaf blades exactly. A couple powder snows come through. I'm able to throw the first one, get the shield, throw the next one, and this is going to be enough to KO. I didn't really have to bubble it, but I do end up swiping the bubbles, and we're gonna be able to take that game. Think we're hopping to the last two battles. So now we're gonna see Gallade into Feraligatr. You really don't see a lot of Feraligatrs. I'm hoping it was running Ice Fang, but it's actually running Waterfall, which is not too ideal because these confusions are chunking as much as these waterfalls are too. We're two glassy Pokemon with pretty high attack, and I tried to throw in good timing, but apparently there is no good timing here, and I'm going to be able to get to the next Leaf Blade as I do get their first shield. Do they want a shield? They do want a shield, and I'm going to try to get to another move. At this point, I need to keep the shield. It's not really worth me shielding. I don't think so. And then I'm going to come into my Electivire here, and I need to shield this. And if I shield this, I have to be committed to the farm down. So I'm going to be able to farm down, but we lose some health. And my thinking here is I'm going to wild charge whatever comes in. But my opponent is very smart, and they end up bringing in a Venusaur, but since I'm at the Ice Punch as well, I'm also going to throw it to make it easier for me to farm down with my Charizard if they choose to stay in, but they choose not to stay in. They come into a Wall Rain. I'm at the Blast Burn. I'm going to charge it up to an Excellent. They have no shields. This is going to go through. It does massive damage, and they're going to be able to get to this Weather Ball, but I think at this point they're going to be able to outpace us, but for some reason they do not throw here, and I'm going to be able to get to the Dragon Claw. So I'm like, since you don't want to throw, I'm going to throw, and so now I'm gonna be able to farm down this Venusaur. They just stopped tapping, I do believe, and we're gonna be able to take that game. So I think this is the fourth game, right? No, that was the last game. Okay, interesting. So as you guys see, 4-1 for the last set that I ran it, and then I did do the Samurai video that I previously dropped today as well. So once again, if you guys are watching this before or after, like before 4 p.m. Central, it's usually when I go live on Twitch. If you guys want to watch the video, the gameplays as I do my sets over there, they will be live at 4. So if you guys want to hang out over there, I will see you guys over there. If not, I do appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys on the next video.